on this call again because we didn't finish with her bills.
Yes.
Okay. All right, perfect.
Are we live, Charlie?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rural Caucus. We have a lot of bills to go over this morning, and going to turn over to my co-chair, and we're just going to get started.
All right, thank you, Delegate Ziegler. Yeah, let's just jump right in we were working, we started a spreadsheet a couple weeks ago on bills that our colleagues had requested that we support. And for the most part, we went through it, but it looks like we jumped over a couple. So we'll just start with that. House Bill 175, it might have a sponsor problem. This is a venison donation income tax credit. Um, and so, Delegate Ziegler, this is your bill. Sal was just joking, obviously. Did you
Oh,
want
of
to talk about
course, that is a terrible sponsor problem. So
that?
all this does, if you can overlook that, is to double the amount of the tax credit you could get for shooting a deer and donating it to a food bank or other, uh, s- registered charity. So it used to be 4 deer. This would make it 8 deer. And I tried to repeal it, but brought it down to just doubling it in order to keep the fiscal note reasonable.
Sure.
So that's all it does. It's hoping to address the overpopulation of deer problem and also get some good protein to food banks.
And we have a quorum here. I just want to check. We have both Johnsons. Ziegler, Hornberger, sample use. Yeah, it looks like we have everyone but Anderson, I believe. Okay, yeah. So is there a motion to support this bill?
So move.
Is there a second? All right, all in favor, say yes.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, so we'll support House Bill 175. Next on the spreadsheet, we have all no's, and I know there's a significant fiscal note, and also too, we were questioning whether or not whether or not this bill is related to some of the rural parts of Maryland. This is a hydroponic aquaculture, or no, hydroponic bill. I think it creates a new program, I believe, but we had all no's. Does anybody want to move that one, or are we okay with moving past that bill? Okay, I'm not hearing anyone say that.
No, I think we should move past it, not because of the bill, but just because I
Sure.
think it pertains to rural.
And there's a significant fiscal note on that as well. So House Bill 1244, Delegate Rose, I think this is in response to the Piedmont line, and it authorized landowners to bring legal action to recover damages from value of residential property being diminished by overhead transmission lines that were constructed on land seized via eminent domain. I guess the only question I have, and certainly I want to help those landowners, and eminent domain is a very serious issue for rural Maryland. And so I want to take this bill very seriously. However, the only question I have is with eminent domain, I believe they have to get several appraisals, and they are being compensated for their lost value. I could be wrong. Maybe we hold this one and talk to the delegate to find out if we can get those answers. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
That makes sense to me. Go ahead, Kevin, sorry.
I've got one of the people that are in the middle of that power line deal in Carroll County brought up the fact to me that they're going to have to hire attorneys. So if they pay them for what their land's worth, and then they got to hire an attorney to negotiate the contract and do all that, by the time they hire the attorney or fight to get their true what they think's their true value, they're not getting the true value of their land because of the expenses that they're incurring. So they feel like at least the legal expenses ought to be compensated because you're not getting your true value for your property. That was his concern.
Okay. Um, do we have anyone here? Is either Lindsay, Tyler, or Grayson on the call? I don't know if those guys were tracking this bill or not. They have any more information for us?
I honestly feel with this one that I just don't know enough about it to say yes or no. I see Delegate Johnson's hand up.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. Yeah, I would like to know if they get attorneys, can the attorneys not negotiate that in the deal, the fees?
I believe that they can. My understanding of this is that the government does have to pay you market value and that you could negotiate that. And I'm not sure that that's really what this bill does because it talks about damages from the value of your property being diminished by whatever the eminent domain thing was that did to it. But that's not, usually you would no longer own the property. So I am confused by this bill.
Can we hold this until maybe at least Thursday and see if we get some answers on that?
But Jeff, the power line doesn't buy the property. They just get a right of way. So they're not actually buying the land. They're just forcing their right of way across the property. And the property owner may be liable for increased taxes and everything else. They're telling me. The guys in Carroll County are telling me this.
Okay, so this is, I'm just looking at the bill summary and it states that land seized via eminent domain and they would actually take ownership of the land itself. And with eminent domain, they are compensated. So is this a right of way or is this land seizure? According to the bill summary, it says land seizure under those circumstances.
Yeah, this is my guys in Carroll County are telling me that this is a right of way, not a this is a taking of the right of way, not a taking of personal property.
Okay. No, I very firmly believe that people should be compensated. And I don't want to let this bill go. Delegate Anderson, I don't, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for the bill sponsor, and I want to help her if we can, but I also want to make sure that we have the correct information here before our caucus moves forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Okay, so I mean, we're going to reconvene on Thursday, and it's only 2 days, so I will definitely in our office and coordinate with Delegate Ziegler's office. We'll see if we can get the answers to the questions that we have, and then we'll revisit this on Thursday. All right, so moving on, Delegate Solomon's bill, we had a couple of no's on that. A couple of yeses as well. Requires health insurance companies that offer coverage through the Maryland Health Exchange to establish a special enrollment period for individuals employed by small businesses. I think, did we already consider this one? Delegate Ziegler, I'm trying to.
I think we did talk about it, yes.
think we did.
Yes, we did. We have a number of health bills. I hope we get a chance to go back to the other health bills that we held.
And there's
If
a
that-
significant fiscal note on this as well. And that might be the reason why I believe I had a question mark on it because of the fiscal note.
And I also wonder if it really has a nexus to rural communities as opposed to just small businesses everywhere.
And I think it's just small businesses statewide because we have, and I think the nexus is we are very reliant on small businesses in the rural area. So I definitely see a sponsor's connection there. But my hesitation would be because of the fiscal note. All right, let's hold that one too. If that's okay with everyone, did anybody want to vote on that? I don't want to take control here. Okay, now moving on, House Bill 1552. This might be one that we want to vote on. I see yeses across the board. It looks like this is a alcoholic beverages bill. It allows wineries, breweries, and distilleries to serve and sell beer, wine, and liquor produced by other Maryland manufacturers in addition to their own. So I think this will certainly help our wineries and our breweries in Maryland, which with our diversifying our agribusiness, I think this would be a wonderful thing. And because I see yeses across the board on this one, I think we should move forward with
So
those.
moved.
Chair.
Can you, sorry, Mr. Co-Chair, can you read that summary again for me, please?
Sure. It allows wineries, breweries, and distilleries to serve and sell beer, wine, and liquor produced by other Maryland manufacturers in addition to their own. It adds value to these agriculture-oriented businesses, according to the sponsor. And I don't know if it's supported by the Farm Bureau. I would imagine that it would be. Certainly not opposed.
Mr. Chair,
Delegate
Yes.
Sample Hughes?
thank you. So is that House Bill 1552?
Yes.
Okay, so the bill sponsor is supposed to, I haven't received the letter yet, I'm the chair of the subcommittee for alcohol, and he's withdrawing that bill.
Oh, has he?
Oh, okay.
That was the plan when he presented the bill in front of the committee, because the bill is supposed to, create this Class L license, and the ATCC has specifically pretty much said this is like a issue that needs to be worked on in the interim if we're going to do anything at all. Now I don't have an official letter yet, but I can meet with staff today to find out if that letter has come through, but he did say he was going to withdraw it when he presented the bill. So I
Okay.
can have that confirmation for you sooner than later.
Thank you very much. That's great. Good to know.
So we'll put a hold on that one. All right, so the next one is same sponsor, House Bill 1574, has to do with childcare providers licensing, and I think this one, well, I'll read the summary. To ease the administrative burden of child care providers, allowing them to maintain and expand their services. This is especially significant in rural areas where there's a significant shortage of providers. This bill streamlines the licensing regulatory systems for child care providers, including criminal background checks, regulatory emergency forms, uniform complaint protocols, teacher qualifications and training, and licensor violations. So there's a couple of yeses, the rest are no's, and a couple question marks on this one. I think this is another one of those bills where it's a statewide bill, but the impact, I don't know if I would necessarily say it's greater in rural areas because there's such a high demand for it. It's sort of like the healthcare bill.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone want to move this one as far as support?
The reason I said no was just that it seemed like a statewide, again, it's not a particularly, because childcare is terrible everywhere.
And I know that we're making progress, and I think that this is a nonpartisan issue. And there are several bills out there that'll do just that. I think this is one where we should trust the committee work, I believe, and I think hopefully something something will go come out of this session in regards to helping our private providers. And oftentimes too, what a lot of committees do, and you all know this, is that they'll move one bill and they'll take certain elements of other bills and work and amend it and maybe there are certain elements of this bill that the committee might use. Okay, doesn't sound like anyone wants to make a motion on that one, so let's move forward. Delegate Hornberger, we talked about your right to repair bill, or is that something that we're going to work on during the interim?
I think that was the consensus to work on it over the interim.
Okay.
And then also, we know everybody can watch the bill hearing and get some more information because it is a complex issue.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's something certainly that I do support, and it's a challenge, especially in the spring and fall, when farmers have, equipment that's literally stuck in the field and they can't get it worked on, because the one or two repair shops they're just overwhelmed and they can't do the work themselves. You also have a problem gambling bill.
Yeah, I have a peer recovery specialist bill. The background here is, the rural areas got hit especially hard with the opioid epidemic, and it's still a major problem, although the overdoses are down. This has a sister bill that's in Health Committee, and I think that one has actually probably got more likelihood of moving than the problem gambling one, because the problem gambling, they're coming back and saying they already have peer recovery specialists, which those are only used for gambling addiction, not necessarily opioid or alcohol or substance abuse. So maybe I'll pull that one back and we'll take a look at the other one. We're talking with Chair Bagnall. She seemed very interested in the bill, so if that's all right.
Okay.
Delegate, forgive my ignorance. What does VLT stand for?
So video lottery terminal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
there's a
Thank you.
fund set aside for folks that have gambling addiction. And what we're finding is they tend to have other addiction issues as well. So if you don't treat everything, you end up with relapse. So
You won't turn that down. You can turn it down if you're hot.
I look forward to that, to hearing about the other
Yeah.
one. This is something
I know you're hot with that jacket on.
Oh, Delegate Anderson, you're not on mute. Yep. Okay.
yeah, what I can do is I'll email the group the bill hearing and the language on the other bill, as it
Wonderful.
seems to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what's the number of the other bill?
I don't have it here in front of me. Let me see if I can
The
bring
right
it
to
up.
repair
Doesn't
bill?
matter.
No, the peer recovery
The other-
specialist bill.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one.
Don't
Okay.
don't worry about it. We'll find it later.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the next three we already moved out in support. All right, so House Bill 674, is it Todd Morgan, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Boyce, Public Service Commission. I think we talked about this one, didn't we?
I think we did. My suggestion would be to hold this only because we have quite a few analysis of energy bills in environment and transportation, and I think it's going to be one of those cases where they get folded into one or two, because they would be very duplicative if you just pass them all.
Sure. Okay. Does everyone agree with that? All right, moving forward. We did not finish last week with the Rural Maryland Council. Switch over. Do we have Charlotte here?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. All right, so we did support House Bill 161 and we held House Bill 202. Can you remind us of that? And what we'll do is as we go through here, I think only 1, 2, 6, maybe there's a half dozen bills, I think, or maybe or 8, it looks like, that you had on your list. So can you briefly remind us what House Bill 202 does?
Yeah, that creates a social isolation and loneliness pilot grant program in the Department of Health. It's $100,000 request, and it does prioritize rural projects. It is sponsored by Delegate Vogel. And, for us, it's about, we have a high number of rural seniors that are socially isolated. We do get a number of grant requests related to providing those kind of services due to lack of transportation generally. So it would be another way for us to prioritize our fundings if there's another program out there addressing this issue.
I love that personally. I think that is, in fact, a huge problem. And Delegate Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. So what is the bill primarily going to do to address loneliness? I heard you say provide rides to.
It offers grants
Yeah.
to, I believe, encourage programming to alleviate those effects, target populations. I'm looking to see if it's going to um, nonprofits generally. Shall prioritize youth and senior and rural populations. It cannot fund research or development programs or capital expenditures. And it is a reimbursement program, looks like.
Are there other programs out there that are very similar to this? I mean, is this a duplication of services?
You could argue that they, as a nonprofit, like I said, they would be eligible under our program, under the Maryland Agriculture, Education, Rural Development Assistance Fund, as well as the Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund for health services. We consider this a mental health issue. So, the extent that I'm not aware of particular programs that this would be eligible for, but it does include collaboration with the Department of Aging, which is where I would typically see this. I don't know if local management boards offer these types of services. We know there's a couple of providers, nonprofit providers, maintaining active citizens, the community action agencies that offer some sort of programming, but not necessarily targeted directly for social isolation.
So is the bill specified for strictly rural areas, or can anybody apply?
Anybody can apply, but it prioritizes rural, youth, senior, and rural populations when awarding grants.
Okay, thank you.
You senior and rural.
Mhm.
And how much money is it again? I mean, it doesn't seem
It's $100,000 request. It's governor shall include $100,000.
yeah, I mean, that's not a huge fiscal note, but then I guess the question is how far can $100,000 go statewide, for these sorts of services?
That's about 3 grants.
Right, right. Uh, I'm not crazy about this one.
If it's
Doesn't
giving
mean we can't vote on it.
if it's giving rural areas priorities, I think it's worth looking at.
Okay.
I would agree. I feel that that kind of thing can be so life-changing for people that and there's never enough money. So if it adds a little bit more money to what's available through the other grants, I think that's helpful personally.
Okay, so is there a motion to support it?
I would move to support it.
A second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Anyone opposed? Nope. All right. So we will move to support House Bill 161. I'm sorry, House Bill 202. All right, moving on to 533.
This is the Mel Nolan Woodland Incentives and Fellowship Fund. I believe it's actually coming out of the committee, should be on the floor, I think, on second reader today. This is just requiring DNR to do a report. There was an audit done last year that found this program is funded through the ag transfer tax, and they found that they weren't getting the full amount that they were supposed to be. So this is just requiring a report by DNR. We support this program. It helps our industry folks. It helps support career development in forestry. We supported this bill, and I believe the Senate bill's passed as well as companion, and then the House is should be moving this bill already.
Okay. Well, I think it's something we can support, but if it moved out of committee, I don't know what the point is. And I mean, I know the speaker asked us to support a bill that moved out of committee last week. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Ziegler?
I mean, I voted yes on it twice. I like the bill.
Sure. I think we just move with this one. It'll just, I mean, by drafting a letter, it just adds extra, work for our staff. And if it's already moved, and as we all know, if it gets out of committee, it's going to be favorable on the floor. And I can't imagine that it'll be challenged. So House Bill 578 is the BAT bill. And
Yeah, it's a
just let us know
follow.
if these bills have moved, from the onset. That way we can move quickly.
I don't believe this one has moved out of committee yet. This just it allows the Department of Natural Resources Secretary to list or delist those endangered species. For example, we added last year 3 species of bat. However, the Delmarva fox squirrel should be removed. I believe it's no longer listed as endangered. It also would alleviate the issue of DNR having to come back to add additional species that may be needed to be added to the list. So it just gives a little flexibility related to this is related to takings in the forest industry. They would be able to get that permit quicker if the DNR secretary had that authority.
Oh, so House Bill 578 is not the BAT bill.
Well, it follows off of the BAT bill from
Oh,
last year.
okay, I got you.
Yeah, what we found is that there's potential for other species to come on, as well as, like I said, the Delmarva fox squirrel is listed, but it's no longer considered endangered. So it needs to come off.
Right.
But then to remove it, they need to come to you all to do that.
Okay. So this gives them the flexibility to not have to come to us. And typically, I would imagine that most of the time, whatever they come to us and ask us to move things around on that list, we generally do it. So we should just give them the authority to do it.
Mhm.
And this is
Yeah.
in committee delegate Ziegler.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
We
on
haven't
that?
heard it. We
Okay.
haven't heard it yet. Delegate Jacobs, do you want to weigh in on this? He's gone for a minute.
We
I mean,
can we'll
in
go back to
general.
this one. Let's go
We
back
come
to that.
back? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's all right. So for House Bill 595.
That is the credit for physician preceptors in areas with healthcare workforce shortages. It's an income tax credit. This, I believe, is changing the requirements to be eligible from 100 hours to 90. We find that preceptors are a strategy to help with our workforce shortages across the rural areas. And anything to help, we need more of them, and anything to help bring more on board and make it easier for them, we support.
This might be a healthcare bill we can get it on board with, I think.
Yeah.
Thoughts with okay, is there a motion to support this bill, House Bill 595?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? No. All right, so we will support House Bill 595. Okay. And then next is House Bill 676.
This is creating another pilot program related to the Maryland Financial Empowerment Center network. This would authorize the comptroller to create these pilot program centers across the state to look at things like it gets to the earned income tax credit and the underuse of that. So helping those individuals look at things like access to credit, debt reduction, tax credit, earned income tax credit eligibility. And I'm not sure if I don't believe it had a mandated amount, and I thought the fiscal note was pretty low for this one. We see generally across the rural areas, we have a higher rate of poverty and lower per capita incomes. So this is seen as a strategy to help support, those building assets, wealth building, and poverty alleviation.
All right, so this will be a partisan bill. Doesn't necessarily mean we shouldn't move favorably with this. So are there any thoughts from our members on this bill?
Charlotte, can you give me the number one more time? I'm sorry.
It's House Bill 676.
676.
There's no mandate. It just says the governor must include an amount sufficient to cover the costs of the programs, and the comptroller says it would cost $135,000.
Yeah.
Mako usually opposes these if there's a mandate, so it sounds like it's optional.
Well, this
Yeah.
is the counties probably wouldn't weigh on this one because it doesn't, it wouldn't impact the counties as far as funding. It's a state mandate.
Okay.
Yeah, the comptroller would administer this. There are several regional offices. So this would be looks like they would hire staff to travel around to those regional offices to provide financial counseling and coaching services free of charge.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think financial literacy is one of the most important things, and that people really do. It's taught very poorly. Delegate Baker?
Yes, on that fiscal note, she had mentioned about hiring more people. How many people are you talking about hiring, and what's the fiscal note for that?
She says 1.5 contractual staff, so $135,000 total.
That's all they're going to need to give financial literacy to 6 million people. That's seems like they're going to need more.
Yeah,
Delegate-
another question. Are they going to be provided with vehicles and all of that to travel in?
It doesn't specify, but I would assume
Okay.
they
Yeah,
get
I'm not
reimbursed. At
concerned.
minimum, they get reimbursed for their hours, for the
Okay.
travel miles.
We can vote on this. Like I said, this is with the establishment of this caucus, and like any caucus, doesn't mean we all have to agree on everything.
I don't know. No,
As
I
in-
would like to support this.
Okay. Did you want to make a
I will
motion?
make-
And then
I
we
will
can-
make a motion to support it.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. And anyone opposed? I'll be opposed to that. So it'll just be me.
And Delegate Baker.
Baker. Okay. So we will move so that there's enough votes to support House Bill 676. All right. It looks like Delegate Jacobs is here. Delegate Jacobs, we had a question for you on House Bill
578.
Yep.
Yes, a follow-on to the BAT bill. I don't know if you've seen that. Charlotte, do you want to?
Yeah, just
Sure,
okay.
this is a follow-up to the BAT bill from last year. Just authorizes the DNR secretary to add or subtract species from the lists for permits to allow taking for our forest industry for harvesting.
Did anyone talk with Beth Hill about this?
We talked to her when we were part of our committee. She is a member of that group. I believe she supported. MFA supported this.
Okay, well, that's important.
I wanted to get your thoughts before we went anywhere with this.
So if she supports it, you support it, Delegate Jacobs.
Yeah,
All right. Sounds good. Is there a motion to support this bill as well?
578.
Yes, sir.
578, yes.
So moved.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. That's unanimous support for House Bill 578. All right. Moving to House Bill 909.
This is the sales and use tax cut exemption for cut flowers that are purchased directly from a farmer. This wouldn't apply to those flowers that you would purchase from a florist or in a grocery store. We see it as alleviating an administrative burden when somebody purchases vegetables, produce directly from a farmer. Those products are exempt from sales and use taxes, but not cut flowers. As we encourage farmers to diversify, we think this would help encourage that diversification and also offer them a little bit of like I said, alleviation of that burden to collect that sales tax.
I move to support that.
I'll
There a second?
second it.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? All right. No one's opposed. So we'll support House Bill 909. I'm kind of skipping around here. House Bill 598.
Oh, this is the physician's licensing for international trained physicians. This again addresses our workforce shortage issues. This will allow reciprocity for those internationally trained physicians to get a license to practice here.
Has that had a hearing yet?
Yes, on the 18th.
I like
Yes.
that bill a lot, but I worry that it's not particularly targeted to rural areas.
I was
It's
I was
just a-
gonna say the exact same thing. I don't think that this really hits the rural communities like we would want it to.
Sure. Okay. Does anyone want to move forward with that? It doesn't sound like it to me. Okay. All right. So House Bill 811.
Yeah, this is an aging in place program. It just expands existing authority in an existing program in the Department of Aging that they could utilize the funds for multi-generational third places. We are seeing an increase of this village model approach where it isn't just about the providing of the services to the aging, it's also providing services to the workforce as well as childcare for that workforce.
Which I looked at my notes.
So it just expands the
On this
Well,
road.
an
Delegate
existing program.
Jacob. Delegate Jacob, you're off mute there. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So it's just expanding existing program to allow the use for this village model approach.
Is
And
there-
we definitely see aging in place as an issue for rural seniors.
But this does affect us statewide, though, much like the bill before this. Okay.
Yeah, I believe there's really only one or two operating of these villages operating in the rural areas. Maintaining active citizens in Salisbury, I believe, has this as an approach. And maybe one in Harford County. I'm not real sure.
I feel like as much as they may be more needed in rural communities, they probably operate a lot more easily where there's a denser population.
Delegate Sample Hughes, did you want to weigh in on this one? She did mention an agency that's in your district.
Yeah, and I was reading something at the same time. Charlotte, my apologies. Can you just read that section again?
That's okay. I believe I was maintaining active citizens in Salisbury, I believe, is operating one of these village style approaches. They do a lot of they provide a lot of services to the aging population in the lower shore.
Yes, they do. They cover like 4 counties just from one agency, and a lot of facilities, they look to them for answers and support to gauge how they're going to work with the community, or specifically the aging population, as one of the #1 resources. So
Did you want to make a motion to support this bill?
sure, yes, I make a motion to support the House bill. And tell me that number again, please.
811.
811. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Let me see who will support HB 811. All right, and the last one's HB 1128.
Yeah, we've long supported an income tax credit for angel investments. We see this as a way to address economic leakage in rural areas. As you may know, we are losing wealth as the aging population, particularly in rural, because as that one generation passes on, generally those assets transfer right away, almost immediately, to the next of kin, which generally are in urban and suburban areas. So it's a buy local, invest local, give local approach, and we've long supported angel investment credits for that purposes. Now, this is restricted for emergent technology, so it isn't just general small business, but it is, like I said, it is a strategy we have supported to encourage that local investments in rural areas. And you'll hear more over the summer as we talk about opportunity zones, right? That's another way of promoting generational wealth investments in particular. This and these opportunity zones are going to be primarily directed to rural. This is OZ 2.0.
Is there any discussion on that? Is this something that, again, this is statewide again for this particular bill, it seems. And does it have a direct or immediate impact on any programming specifically like the last one did for? Because like Delegate Sample Hughes said that one affected 4 counties, or at least services to 4 counties in rural areas.
This would be more to assist those entrepreneurship centers or small business development as another resource tool.
Gotcha.
So when they look for resources, when our entrepreneurs are making those pitches, it's just another tool for them.
Okay, and they already have a lot of tools in their toolbox already. All right, so I think we should hold off on this one. Does anyone disagree with that? Delegate Ziegler, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it does sound more like a statewide thing. I certainly do think that we should support opportunity and wealth creation in rural areas. But I don't know, Charlotte, can you repeat how this is particularly directed to rural areas?
It's a strategy related to preventing economic leakage, right? We're seeing a draining of wealth overall in the rural areas. So buy local, give local, keeping money in rural economies is really what this, it's a tool to try to uh, counter that, which we see as it's really going to start getting acute here as the baby boom generation starts to actually pass on. So it's almost here. And so it's just seen as another strategy. Now it is on emergent technology, so it isn't as broad as we would have preferred to have seen. So it's really going to impact those areas of technology related to like Salisbury University, right? The tech transfer that would be coming out of some of the universities. So it isn't as broad as we would like.
Mm-hmm. But interesting.
It is, and also too, it seems like the rural parts of Maryland are lagging behind when it comes to participating, in innovation and technology. Montgomery and your county, Delegate Ziegler and Frederick County seem like they're taking the lead on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Delegate Sample Hughes?
Well, thank you. Charlotte, you had mentioned opportunity zones. So this bill would allow entrepreneurs for this emergent technology to identify places within the opportunity zones to locate. Is that correct?
Well, it would be used in conjunction with those opportunity zone investments. They're not quite related. They're similar in scope of trying to direct investment into underserved communities. The opportunity zones are an investor gets it's a prepaid tax credit on to help generate, that investment to direct to rural. This is another strategy. This kind of gets to it from the other side of encouraging, instead of getting the prepayment and a reduction in your tax liability, it's a tax credit.
Okay, I know many small businesses have utilized that opportunity zone piece, but you're saying this is an addition to, or will benefit it as well. So, okay, thank you.
Delegate Sample Hughes, is this something that you think we should support?
Yeah, I think we could and we should. Given the fact that the rural areas is always trying to find that niche to sustain themselves, and if technology is at the forefront, I think that we need to be a part of that process and be at the table too. So I would say yes. I would move to support it.
Sounds like that's a motion.
I will second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Is there
Aye.
anyone opposed? All right, so House Bill 1128, support that. All right, let's move on to Delegate Jacobs. I don't know if you have anything from your Waterman's Caucus or not. I don't know if you want to talk about that or you're prepared to. If not, I do want to pick your brain on a couple of bills that will hurt rural areas, in particular the Neo-Nic bill. And Delegate Ziegler, I know this is in your committee as well. And then also House Bill 1268. I do want to talk about that as well.
Well, I'll let Delegate Ziegler talk about the Neo-Nic bill since it's in her subcommittee. We discussed this several bills last night in the Waterman's Caucus, upcoming bills. I have two on Wednesday myself. One's aquaculture penalty bill, which puts aquaculture fishery in the same posture as a public fishery as far as fines and suspensions and revocations go. They were held at a different standard, and this puts both aquaculture and public fishery in the same posture for specific listed infractions. They both have 5 specific infractions, which if they're found guilty of, can either be a suspension or revocation. So on the first offense, it would be a suspension, and the second offense would be revocation, and that gives it the same posture as what we passed last year in the public fishery. The other one that I have this week is the rotational harvesting bill, which has support of the watermen all across the bay. They met on several times. The Maryland Waterman Association Board of Directors collectively selected 4 sanctuaries for rotational harvest to try and rebuild them, because there's the 46, not the big 5 sanctuaries that there's federal funding in, but there's 46 others that Maryland set aside in 2009 that have had virtually no investment, no work done whatsoever on them. It was supposed to be a 5-year study. It's been 16 years. Most of them have either stayed the same or gone backwards, have worsened in conditions. So this is a bill to try to improve 4 of those sanctuaries through a very specific rotational harvest procedure under the direction of DNR. I'm not sure how that's going to come out, because they've always, every time we try to pass something to improve one of these sanctuaries, somebody's put a bill in to stop any forward movement. So they're just letting them just denigrate over time, which is really sad, especially when we've had good spats set for the last 5 years.
Okay, which bill is that? The first one, Delegate Jacobs. So
1400 was the first one. And
that's a bill that you guys are not supporting, right? Obviously.
No, wait a minute. That's my bill.
Oh, that's your bill? Oh, that's a sponsor problem. That's why I was asking.
No, it's I've actually met with the department, and there's some amendments on there, and everybody's happy, kumbaya. So the second one, 1388, is the rotational harvest bill.
All right.
Which
is that one yours too?
That one's mine too. Great bill. Good sponsor. And then we have some others. I think Cherie Sample Hughes had a good bill hearing on Friday on allowing gill nets to be used for harvesting invasive blue catfish, and the department came out with a pilot program that I think makes good sense. It looks like bill should move.
Which one is that?
I'm not sure what that
It's
bill.
House Bill 947.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
great bill.
It's
All
a
right.
great bill.
Man, I tell you, other than the sponsors, these are all pretty good bills here.
And then the following week we have a reporting bill. Jack Bailey in the Senate has the MDOT bill that restores the money from I think the term ran out on the MDOT agreement, that money that goes for oyster restoration. And he's actually going to do both sides because mine was a late file, the House bill, but his has already passed out of committee over there, and that's really good for the oyster counties, the committees in each county, and that bill will be coming over. I don't know, who knows, in a couple of weeks, hopefully. But we discussed a number of bills last night, and there's a couple hearings this week, couple the following week.
All right, so you have 3 bills you would like us to support. Looks like 1400, 1388, 947.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then if you have any others, let us know. We meet obviously Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I think by next Tuesday we should be finished, I believe, as a caucus. Is that correct, Delegate Ziegler?
I believe so, yeah.
We'll have a list for
Okay.
coming out. So now we have agreed as a caucus.
I got to jump off, Jeff, to go do the other caucus meeting.
And I'll be right behind you.
We all will, right.
And then that we're not going to oppose any bills, that we would offer amendments to make bills better. The neonic bill, I don't know that much about it. I don't know. I guess what I will lean on is probably the Farm Bureau and the grain producers to potentially offer some amendments to that, and I'll just see how I think what we should do is just see how I guess the dust falls on that particular bill. And if we need amendments from them, certainly we can discuss that on Thursday, potentially. Okay. All right. Now, moving forward, the Silver and Starter homes, this is a big deal for rural counties. I will say that. And I say that in the sense that we want to preserve our identity. And I think I mentioned this before, where if you travel in the rural parts of Maryland, you don't see a real overlap in communities like you do, in the urban suburban areas. There is a striking difference between each of the towns and everywhere in between, and that's because of local zoning. So the Starter and Silver's home that preempts local control. And an amendment, we talked about this amendment before, where it will exempt counties that have a population of under 100,000 people. So medium-sized counties like Wycomico and Cecil, they're still included in the bill. But the smaller counties that are smaller than that would be exempt with this amendment. And so this is a bill certainly that I would like to see not move, but I think it is going to, and I think this amendment will make it better, for the rural communities. And so I'll make a motion to support this amendment. So is there a second for that?
I'll second that. Yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay. All right. And Delegate Johnson, House Bill 1268, I think that you were going to work on that. I don't know if you have anything for us. We can hold off until Thursday, that discussion, if you like.
Yeah, can we hold off until
Sure.
Thursday? I'm gonna talk with Delegate Ziegler because even though I'm from a rural county, I don't quite know what a CAFO is. So I'm gonna learn what a CAFO is so I can make a good decision. But like I said earlier or last week, I'm not opposed to amending it.
Sure.
the
No, and
piece
I
of
appreciate, yeah, I appreciate that. And hopefully during that discussion, in order for them to build a new, basically it's a CAFO is a chicken farm. In order for them to build a new chicken farm, there's a whole process they have to go through. There's a huge amount of setbacks. There's buffers. There's a waiting period where they have to send out letters to all the neighbors and the neighbors can weigh in on it. I mean, it's a huge process. It's not easy to build a chicken house. In fact, I would argue it's more difficult to do that. It would be to build a manufacturing plant. But because it's so rural
we'll-
and it's in the middle of nowhere, that it doesn't really make sense to have that in this bill.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Delegate.
So we can talk about that, but we do have a hard stop.
Yeah.
So perhaps we could table that until Thursday.
And we'll also table the bills that the Waterman's Caucus had suggested so that way it gives us a chance to review them.
Sure.
So we'll add those to the list on Thursday. Again, thank you all. Appreciate it, you all very, very much. This discussion, I think we're making pretty good progress. And we'll see you all on the floor.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.